Okay, hello and welcome to this new episode of Questioning the Answer. I have with me Anant, who is my co host for this series, and Rajita. Rajita, would you want to tell us a little about yourself, what you're doing right now?
I am doing my master's in international politics from SOAS. So currently I'm working on my dissertation, the last bit that I need to finish for my master's. Yeah, and I'm here in London for now.
Okay. Um, Today, what we are going to discuss is the role of organized religion in our lives uh, in the last, uh, I think, 20, 30 years with a lot of technological changes in our lives. Uh, we find our beliefs, our social interaction systems have changed, and a lot more people are uh, able to move from city to city or even country to country very often.
Yeah,
In this context, we are exposed to a lot of cultural changes. How do you guys in your time see organized religion? Anant, you want to go first?
Uh, I have a very pessimistic view on this topic in the sense that I don't see it. I don't see the ritualism and the, the entire rigid and rigorous nature of all the norms that come with following a religion as necessary. Although I can appreciate the sense of charity and the sense of giving back to the community that certain religions invoke in us, but I believe that those should be separated from the dogmatic interpretations of these religions, which I see as problematic.
Okay. Rajita, do you think, to start with, is there any need for organized religion in today's time?
I don't think there is a need. I think religion and spirituality should not be confused. For instance, today I might identify as a Hindu, but I don't think I'm a practicing Hindu in the sense I don't need to go to a temple specifically to pray to God. So that's where I think we do need spirituality till now, but I don't think there is a need for organized religion for us to incorporate into our daily lives.
Okay. On an individual level, I find a lot of people are into organized religion because they feel the need to belong. The question of spirituality that you raise is quite disconcerting when it starts. Uh, Whether it is Hindu religion or any other religion that one belongs to, I think it is kind of who am I or the redefining of one's understanding of oneself to start with. It is not very easy to take in the first place because it's easier to say, okay, this is who I am, this is what I belong to. Like those forms we tick on the government notifications, it's far
Yeah,
more easy saying male, female, this religion, that happens, and married, unmarried. Those kind of classifications make it easy for us to accept. And the questioning is not very happy. The questioning makes us very uncomfortable. So,
yeah.
what would you say to somebody like that who's struggling with the question itself, saying it is very uncomfortable? I would rather belong to something and go ring the bell in the temple and know that uh, take some prasadam, do the coconut thing, whatever that they do. It gives them a sense of peace. How would you speak to somebody like that if you had to?
I wouldn't dissuade anybody from practicing something. It's something we all adopt on individual levels. So if it's a question of ticking, I will probably be ticking off Hinduism on the list, but that doesn't mean I will be partaking in all the rituals that are associated with the religion at all times. So I think our levels of being engaged with practices that are specifically linked to a religion, the frequency at which we perform those activities, I think, are coming down with with each passing generation.
Okay.
That
Okay.
is my take on it.
I have a I'm privy to quite a few people who are into this chanting of names of their particular deities, which is a big deal in a lot of varying religions, and they have the number counting things, 108, 1008, and stuff like that. Uh, that is rising in smaller communities, as I see. I'm talking only about India and my particular experience. Obviously, it is given a lot of emphasis. So, Anant, while she says something which is pertaining to people who think for themselves, for sure, because it still requires that little jump of saying, okay, I am not this, then who am I? By itself, the first time you ask that question is always going to be a little tricky. Vis-a-vis the increase in number of people who saying if they are going to take the name of this deity or that deity so many number of times, it just gets you into a trance kind of thing, and it gives them some kind of peace. This is
Yeah.
my understanding. I have no experience of belonging to that sort of thought process. So again, that is still increasing and on the rise, at least in present time circumstances, especially with, okay, if I were to just come down to this circumstance where the world has cheated us by not standing up for what it was promising for so long. So now people are trying to fall back upon what their parents said and their grandparents said, and maybe trying to find some solace in that. So how does that kind of praying help, or what do you think is leading people to uh, go there, and why would you not go there?
Okay. So I, it is my personal view that uh, you ascribing to this sort of ritualism to get some sort of temporary peace or temporary respite is largely a result of insecurity in other arenas of life.
Oh,
There's some kind of vacuum that needs to be filled, and you resort to you resort to religion in this case. So probably job insecurity or economic insecurity, or um, pe- things often get painted with a communal color or a religious or politicized color to detract from economic downturn. And uh, essentially, if there's something wrong in the economy, you become distracted by religion, which is what, as you said, they go into a trance like state, which dulls their senses, which provides them with some temporary respite. And it gives you this sort of identity. But, and to answer your last question as well, why I wouldn't ascribe to it is because I always look at the larger picture. I, if I were to strongly think of myself as Hindu before I am Indian, that is entirely problematic and divisive and only serves to further worsen the situation.
okay. I think you've given a holistic answer. I'm looking for a more individual point of view. Say, Rajita, at this point of time, suppose you had a problem that you were unable to grapple with, whatever it is. It could be personal, professional, uh, relationships, work-wise, anything. And it was really, you had used all your intellectual prowess that you have. You had used all the ideas that you can think of at this point of time, and have still not succeeded for some reason. At that time, would you not trust, I think, what was called the opium of the masses at one point of time? Would you not want to have the faith and belief is more? I agree that the vacuum might be a reason. I haven't thought that through yet. But
Yeah.
whatever the reason, at that point, your feelings about it make it true for you. You have come to the end of your thinking prowess, and you want to. Then you say, okay, I'll marta kya na karta. Okay, I'll do exactly what somebody else is saying. Let me try that. Would you, at
Mm.
that point of time, if you were really pushed against the wall?
In this sense, go into performing rituals and stuff.
Anything, anything. start believing in a process that you are otherwise not believing. I'm saying when things are very, very bad and absolutely difficult to handle, would you think, okay,
I would of course try to exhaust all the practical ways of going through it, be it talking to my parents, or if it's a health problem, talking to doctors. I would believe in going to a person who can help me get through the problem for real, because there's no guarantee that God is going to help you through. But yes, like I said, there is a belief, and for that I would probably spare 10 minutes in the morning or something for praying. But I don't think I would indulge into a very detailed or intricate form of rituals and perform anything very, very detailed. There's a difference between that, spending money on something, doing extravagant stuff about, achieving an ends. I don't believe in that. I would believe in something more simple.
so is it a quality of the heart, Anant, that is important instead of, because you mentioned one thing that they are trying to fill a vacuum, which is basically escapism, is what you mean.
Yes.
And what she is talking about is going to this God or power, nature, providence, whatever you want to call it, uh, with a sense of honesty instead of what Osho used to call begging. So, would you think it is a quality of the heart that is important, and people need to befriend the discomfort initially to reach that point?
Uh, I I'd still stick to what I originally said about escapism, in the sense that I'm not someone who can really, and this is an opposing view, I can't really divorce spirituality from religion. I mean, I totally agree with. I don't. I acknowledge the escapism on behalf of people, but I don't necessarily see it as a bad thing. If it helps you, it helps you. But I only see it as a good thing that helps people to the extent that you don't impose it upon others, and that your spiritualism isn't something exclusive. So if you want to go to the temple and ring the bell, and if that gives you a sense of peace, or if you want to go to the mosque, you want to go to whatever else you want, you also have to acknowledge that with that power comes some responsibility. If you are able to enter a temple, if you are able to enter a mosque and do that, you have to acknowledge that there are millions more who are not allowed to enter such premises. So I don't. I think there is some romanticism to uh, an attempt to divorce spiritualism from religion. I personally don't believe that can be done.